I could have also done, I could have put it off to the right, and the simplest way to do that is I could simply say a HUD X plus half the width plus 5 pixels, and then anchor 0, which is the left side of the object. So if I saved it, I did. Click, click, click. Now our counter is going to be on the right side. So either way, however you want it. I'll leave this code in here when I commit this. Again, there'll be a link with the show notes for people to read this. All right, so now we've got a counter, a label, a text label that is representing our counter. It's currently not visible because we assume that we're going to be showing initially just the visual element, the graphic element. And let's take a look at our set value. Okay, so set value now is we set the value to the current value passed in. We update the label text to be whatever that value is. And then we do some checks. We say, if self value is equal to 0, then we hide both, I'm sorry, that's probably, I'm going to say that is false. If it's true. This is what happens. All right, so we set the label to visible, and we sell, no, this can't be right. Sorry. Here we go. That's what I want. In fact, these others are not behaving correctly. No, that's right, because they have no counter. Okay, sorry, backing up. This is what happens when you lose your mind in the middle of a show. So what do we want? This is a superior HUD in the sense that it can also express 0. Now, really, these are lives counters for me. I was using these in the game as lives counters, and when you get to 0, who cares? You're dead, and the game's over. So I didn't need to show it at that point, so I didn't add the ability to show the concept of 0. I just hit it and called it even. However, perhaps you have a counter where you would like to express that you have 0 mines left or 0 widgets or whatever it is. In that case, you need to show the counter. So our first check is, if value is 0, show make sure that both the counter and the graphic are visible, because we're going to show the graphic, and then we want to show that 0 is the value of how many we have left. However, the next step is to check to see if it's greater than our limit. So our limit for this one was 3. In the case that it is greater than the limit, we do the scaling just like we did before, except we have a simplified version because we know we're going to be showing only 1, and we know that 1 is offset by 0 and has a scale of 1. So I could just plug 1 in for each of these. Then we make sure to show the graphic, and we show the label, and we get this here. So we get a number and we get the value. However, if it's not 0 and it is less than or equal to the limit, we wish to show just the graphic. And then we do the same thing we did in our prior one. So we hide the label, which we didn't have before. We show the graphic, and then we do our little scaling algorithm. Now this is a little bit shorter because I took the comments out, but if you are confused, just go up here and look at the steps, because these are exactly the same steps. X scale is equal to value, scale X is 1 over the HUD's X scale, and so on and so forth. And that is basically it. So the value of this is that now we've only got one display object that we need to maintain and clean up. And we don't, a lot of people, they approach this problem the first time and they say, okay, I want to have a graphic to display the number of lives. And so for every life they have, they create a new display image. But then they have this problem where they need to go back and clean those images up. They got to remember where they're positioned. It's just a pain in the neck. But with Corona's fill option here, easy peasy. You just use one display object, you scale it, and you fill it, and you're done. And I think that would be the end, unless anybody has any questions.
Nice. Yeah, the only other thought that I have is if you could take that 5 and make it like almost like a notification, like a little dot on top of the other graphic. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, never mind.
No, it's okay. It's like you like smaller in positioning, or?
Oh yeah, now I'm just going. This is a great example. First of all, I think the concepts here are valuable. And then, and my mind always just jumps to the next thing. And I'm like, ooh, what if you just overlaid that number on top of the object itself, right? So you've got bombs. Let's just say the little faces that represent bombs. You got bombs, and then on that bomb you have like just a little number that's right up on. I'm not asking you to do it because that'll derail everything. But
I can do it quickly. But yeah, you can certainly do that. Yeah, absolutely. What I'm showing here is the start, but you could take what I've given you here and easily adjust this so that the positioning of this is a little bit different, the size of it is different, colors, etc.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mostly what I was interested in with this example was getting people started on the concept of the fill scale and the scaling so they could see that they get this savings. Because I've helped people in forums a number of times, and back then, at one point we didn't have filling back in graphics 1.0, and so I showed them discrete images as the way to go. So multiple discrete images in a display group, and it was always confusing because people had trouble sort of like remembering which one's left of which one and how to remember to just remove it, or it was a little bit difficult. But this, I think, is a little bit simpler. You only got one object to deal with, and you just got to remember how to scale it and fill it, and you're good to go.